Hello, and welcome to the library's first edition of Finding, Writing, and Citing, an introduction to using WMU library resources. Today's lesson, scholarly online research, because not everything you find in Google is actually true. What we're going to cover today. First, we want to just point out that mere information is not necessarily the same thing as a good scholarly resource. We will give you an introduction to the library homepage, which is the front page to our Discovery service. We're going to have just the basics on the Discovery service. We will have more intensive and extensive training on the Discovery service, but right now we just want to get you started with the basics. And we'll also show you the basics of selecting a database. Most of us, when we want to find information, we just jump on a search engine, Google or Bing or Yahoo. I've been noticing students are doing this also for their academic research, and they seem to be getting quite frustrated with the results. They find some PDF on the web, they click Save to RefWorks, and there seems to be this expectation that all the data will just automatically get sorted in RefWorks in the proper way. Perhaps the paper will write itself and submit itself to turn it in, and that's all that's really been done. And there seems to be a lot of frustration that it's not working that way. I don't want you to be misled into thinking that the library services will automate everything you want automated. But I do think if you know a little bit about the basics, you might change your mind about where you start to do your research. Now, Google and Bing and Yahoo, we all use those. The library staff use them probably more than most people. But the problem for academic research is that the results, you get hundreds of millions of websites searched, leading to billions of documents. It gets very hard to filter through which information is relevant, just too much. Secondly, the results are indiscriminate. You really have no idea about the truth or the currency, how recent the information was. It's very hard to say whether it's authoritative or not. It's just whatever's indexed. And of course, sometimes you'll find just the right thing or what looks like the right thing, and then you can't access it because you hit the proverbial paywall. And you might not know this, but not everything is indexed by Google. We pay for a lot of content, a lot of databases from commercial providers that provide good academic content, and not all of them want their content indexed by Google. So literally, you do not know what you're missing. So where do you go when Google isn't getting the job done for you? Well, our recommendation at the library is that you go to library.wmu.se. And why? Well, in the first place, the library staff have spent considerable effort and money to collect databases, to purchase and subscribe to databases that are relevant to maritime and oceans research. And we have put them together so that most of them can be searched through a single interface, even though there are many different databases. Now, it does not search everything that Google would search, but that can actually be an advantage because what you do get is going to be more relevant. And of course, it's going to be peer-reviewed content for the most part, which it's vetted by experts, and therefore it's quality academic content. You are not going to get marks off by your professor because you on the internet found some 14-year-old who was plagiarizing a 12-year-old. Okay, what you cite is going to be good information. And of course, for the most part, when you find a link in the Discovery service, you're not going to have to pay. We're going to get you over those paywalls. Okay, this is the library homepage that I was telling you about. It is the front to our Discovery service. This is where you want to go when you want to get started. Notice you just go to library.wmu.se. And if you can't remember that, if you can just remember wmu.se and click library, that ought to do the trick. So there you are. Okay, real quick, I just want to say that there's some menus here that you can pull down, and you're welcome to help yourself read through these things. It tells you more about our collections, tells you more about our services. I welcome you to check that out. I don't want to go into any detail about that. One of the more important things is this collections. That's why we put it first. You get an overview, and then there's links to some of our more important collections, including the Discovery service, which I'm about to show you. Not everything is indexed in the Discovery service. You'll notice we start our text box with search everything, but then we have this little disclaimer for reasons having to do with just not every database works the same way, or that every company is up to standards on the same protocols, various reasons. We don't have everything that we subscribe to indexed in the Discovery Service, but we do have a lot. You can see here a list, you can get to a list of databases and electronic journals that are not indexed in the Discovery Service that are still things that we pay for and you have access to. So check that out sometime. Okay, I promise to keep this real basic. So you can get more sophisticated than this. There is an advanced search, but the first thing you want to do is just type in a topic. Let's try maritime economics, economics, right? And we've got 15,500 hits. Obviously, we want to take advantage of some of the advanced search capabilities to filter this down, or you can filter by these various categories here, and there's other categories you can use. We're going to have instruction on that later. What I wanted to show you is that when you get search results from the Discovery Service, you're going to see basically three types of links. The first you see is retrieved from catalog. When the library staff refer to catalog, they mean the print catalog, the hard copy inventory. We have a separate interface for that can be searched separately if you know what you're looking for exactly, or you know that it's in print, or you just want to see what we have in print and don't want your search cluttered down with results of stuff that's electronic. You can tell, first of all, it says retrieve from catalog. So you click that link and it will take you to our catalog page. But you can also see that it has this little location call number. This is what you'd want to write down. And basically this is the location. This is it's in the library. This one's in the archives. But you also want to check that the status is available. You don't want to come all the way to the library and find out that the item has been checked out or is lost or missing or something. So the next link you'll see, we kind of consider this the gold standard, is the PDF full text. When you click this just goes straight to the article, because this indexing service also has a lot of content built into it. So e-journals and e-books, you click those and there you are. You're just in there reading them. And that's great. The other thing that you will find is a link called to the full text finder. The full text finder is a little bit different. It means that we should own the content. It's indexed in one of those many databases, but it does not belong to the same service that's providing this. So this will link you to the article, and it's supposed to work, but there are so many variables at play, so many different companies and protocols, and it's hard to say, but we can get you to the article, but it just might not be as seamless as it should. So here's an example from a search that Anna sent me, and you see here's that full text finder link, which means that it is not in the EBSCO databases. It's in one of our other databases. I happen to recognize this is from Science Direct, which you could search directly yourself. But again, this is an aggregated index. So let's see what happens when I click this. Okay. Okay, well, as you can see, this was not very good. But I am sure that we own the article because it got indexed. So what you'd have to do in this case would actually be to search Science Direct's interface itself to find the article, or search for the journal. But still, it's nice to have one place that maybe you could do this in Google, but you can definitely do it here. And when you get a link, I mean, with Google, it's not going to know whether it's an article we owned, whether it's a journal we own or not, whereas the Discovery Service does. So this is, bummer that you have to search again, but we should own this. I'm not going to demonstrate that. Oops, let me go back. And let me just try this other article here okay. Oh, in this case, I'll go straight to it. So you see the results can vary. And as I say, that's because you're just talking about a lot of players in the information business doing their best to implement the standards and the protocols, and it doesn't always work flawlessly. But like I say, we have indexed this. We have told the indexing service what journals in Science Direct that we own. And so many times it will go straight in, but other times it does not, and you might have to search again, or you might end up at the top of the journal page and have to work your way down the volumes and down to the issue in the particular year and down to the article you're looking for. But still, it's nice to have one place where you can look and get basically a single search. All right. Remember that I've been kind of harping on things you find in the internet are not necessarily scholarly. They're not necessarily even articles. It's just stuff on the web. They're not it's not a journal article. It's not a book. It's just some document on the web. So you don't really know what you're getting. In the case of most of the library databases, uh, you're going to get good scholarly content. And the nice thing about this academic content is that it fits very nicely into the reference management services that we have. So we're going to have plenty more lessons on this. I just want to give you an introduction real quick to the things you can do. You see here, I'm just selecting a folder. What I'm doing is I'm kind of bookmarking these things, right? I want to go see what's in my folder. And look, I've got export. And look at that, directly, I can export to RefWorks. I'm going to demonstrate that in another video, or Anna will. But the point being, this will send that bibliographic information with a link to the full text straight to your reference management software. You can't necessarily do that by finding some document on the web and clicking Save to RefWorks. If it works, great. But you're going to have to look at it a lot more closely than if you're in one of these quality academic databases and clicking the direct export link from into RefWorks. Okay, so that's the basics of the Discovery Service. And as I said, we will have more detailed classes, and we will also have classes on how to do more comprehensive searching and some strategies and techniques you can use, because even though the Discovery Service and all the databases we have are much more limited and focused than Google, it's still a lot of data. Look at this just from this search that Anna did, environmental aspects. You've got 572,199 documents to go through. Obviously, there needs to be some techniques to winnow that down. So we'll cover that in another video. But one way that you can winnow things down is not by using the Discovery Service. And when I say not using the Discovery Service, I'm not necessarily talking about going back to Google. But if you go to our library homepage, you can go back to the Collections tab, and you see this databases A to Z, or for you North Americans, A to Z. All right, come on. Here we go. There. This is an alphabetical listing of our databases that we pay for or have acquired in one way or another. And when you search these, let's say you want to search for something legal, and you don't necessarily want to get involved in something engineering or mathematical, or then why search the Discovery Service? Some of those terms that are cross-disciplinary or used differently according to different disciplines, it's just going to get more stuff for you to collect. So if you have a very focused search, then you might want to start by getting into one of these individual databases. Now, many of these are indexed in the Discovery Service, and the results will show up in a Discovery Service search. So that makes it a great place to start when you're just trying to get started on a topical search. But if you have a better idea, then try one of these. Now, each of these databases has a description, which tells you what you can expect to find in that database. And it also has a link. And you don't want to just go to ilaw.com or heinonline.com or westlaw.com. You want to go to this A to Z databases page and use our links, because if you happen to be off campus, our links will take care of that. They'll ask you to authenticate through your Gmail. And once you do that, basically these third-party databases will think you're on campus, and you can just search as if you were right here or at HSR. And that's good. Whereas if you just go straight to the database on your own, if you happen to know the URL, for instance, to that database, to say Science Direct, and you're off campus, you're going to hit a paywall. So use our links, because we've provided the proxy link for you. Okay, I'd say that's about all I had to show on this one. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming.